This week is MBA Reading Week. That might sound like a week off, but I've actually fallen way behind. I'm doing a part-time executive MBA in Dublin. Right now my MBA involves 2 3-hour lectures on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, and it takes me an hour to get to and from these lectures. And I'm balancing my MBA with running my own business and also with a busy family life. So I'm using this reading week to catch up on not one but 2 different modules. Right now I'm reading all about business strategy. And I also have to get ready for an accounting exam. God help me. So this week I'm going through this textbook which is all about business strategy. I'm reading about frameworks like Porter's 5 Forces, the SWOT analysis and the pestle analysis framework. Each of the chapters in this book are pretty dense and they take me about 30 minutes to read. But that's not actually all of the reading I have to get through for this particular module. You see, our lecturer is also sending us PDF case studies, reading materials and news stories that we have to digest before class and also use for a research paper which we have to submit later on this year. So I have to go through these on an iPad and annotate key things that are relevant to me and also that I can use for my own business. Now for the accounting and finance module, there's a lot of exercises inside of this book that I've been practicing, and our lecturer has also given us an Excel sheet full of example exercises that we can use to prepare for that exam. So each morning I'm spending about 30 minutes going through these 2 different books. Now, I fell behind because the MBA has quite a lot of coursework, but I also fell behind because I wasn't managing my time effectively. You see, I opened up my phone, screen time report, and I was horrified to see I was spending 3 and 4 hours a week wasting time on social media networks like X, doom scrolling and reading political news. This was time I could have used to catch up on my MBA. So I immediately deleted X from my phone. Now of course it's pretty easy to re-download and install a social media app. So I actually bought a little device from Unplug which makes it particularly difficult for me to install apps on my phone that are real-time syncs. And if I really want to use social media, I have to put in a specific passcode or press a pattern on the phone at least half a dozen times before I can get into the app in question. And this has already saved me a couple of hours per week, time that I can spend catching up on getting ready for that accounting exam. I've also changed how I manage my days. So I used to get up and look at the phone first thing. So now I put my phone aside and I'll spend a bit of time going through my reading materials for the MBA instead. Now a reading week is all well and good, but it's easy to let reading turn into a form of procrastination. Believe me, I've read dozens of business books over the years and I've done nothing with them, but I wanted to do something different with this particular MBA. So I'm spending a bit of time taking notes from the books, from the case studies and from the various lectures that I'm going to. And I'm putting these notes into Apple Notes. But I'm not stopping there. You see, I'm using a system called the Zettel-Kasten method. If you're not familiar with the Zettel-Kasten method, it's actually 150 years old. Now I have an entire playlist on the channel where I detail how the Zettel-Kasten method works and how you can use it. But it's pretty easy to do. Basically, go through something that you're interested in. So in this case, business strategy. Summarize some of the key ideas or principles in your own words and put that into your note-taking system. Don't worry too much about what app you use. Apple Notes will work just fine. Then you spend a bit of time at the end of the day or at the end of the week reviewing all of your notes and summarize the key ideas in your own words. And ask yourself how note A links to note B and how note B links to note C. And then how note C links to note A. And you start to build up a connection between all of the different ideas. And then finally, you need to take what you summarized and all of the connections that you found and turn it into a public facing work. So for me, this could be a newsletter that I send to my list over at briancollins.com. It could be some posts for LinkedIn, because LinkedIn loves learning about MBAs and business frameworks. Or it could be a script for a YouTube video like this one. But there's no point having a great note-taking system if you're not actually going to do anything with some of the ideas that you have inside of it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking ideas from the MBA, using them in my business, and then turning them into content. I find reading in the morning works really well for me because that's when I'm freshest and it's easy to digest heavy concepts like in this business strategy book. On the other hand, if I tried to read something like this late at night when I'm tired, I wouldn't really be able to get through it. That said, you need to find a schedule that works for you and your routine. Speaking of routines, there are a number of apps that you can use on your phone to get the most of the dead parts of the day. 3 of my favourite apps include Pocket, Instapaper and Read It Later. Unfortunately, Pocket was recently discontinued, but with Read It Later and Instapaper, you get an email address that you can forward reading articles to. And I send my PDFs and case studies and other reading materials to these email addresses. And then when I'm on my commute into college, I can open up my iPhone and I can read one of the case studies. I can highlight some interesting sections from it and copy it over to my note-taking app of choice. And this is probably a better use of time than doom scrolling on X or reading mainstream media. One technique that I'm trying for the next semester is using Google Notebook. Using Google Notebook, I can upload all of my notes and it will automatically summarize and synthesize them for me. But not only that, it will create, using AI, a podcast episode where two podcast hosts interview each other about the ideas inside of my notes. I tried this with my own writings and I was really surprised by, firstly, the quality of the AI generated voices, and secondly, AI's ability to summarize things I've already written.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to sort through the noise and pull out the insights that you can actually use.
That's right.
And today, our mission is looking at this collection from Brian, his daily newsletters.
So I can't wait to try this with some of the reading materials from the MBA course. As you can see, I'm treating my MBA reading week as like a mini writing and reading retreat. Hopefully this will get me back on track and then I'm ready for the next semester. And hopefully it will also put me in a good place to pass the accounting exam. But will it work? Will I be able to use the Zettelkasten method, AI, and some of the techniques that I've described in this video to pass the exam? Don't forget to subscribe to the playlist if you want to find out.